So I used to be a Reiki master. I did Reiki for about 11, 12, maybe 12 years. So yeah, I was well into it. So when you're a Reiki master, it means there's three levels, or there's 3 degrees to Reiki. So I was like the highest one. So I had the ability to actually like teach others to become attuned to Reiki through quite a wild time in my early 20s, when I was about 21. I was taking drugs. I was partying every weekend. I had a little boy. So I was a single mum, very hurt. And my lifestyle was just chaotic because I was partying, drinking, taking drugs. And I knew I didn't want that lifestyle anymore. So I knew I was seeking peace. I was seeking God, obviously, at the time, but I didn't know it. So it was somebody that told me about trying meditation. So one day I just tried a meditation. All this weird stuff happened to me. So basically, I sort of saw all this sort of like light when my eyes were closed, and my body started to like feel like it was going like an out of body experience, and it really freaked me out. So anyway, I spoke to this lady who I knew, and she did Reiki, and she was like, "Oh, it sounds like you're doing Reiki. It sounds like you've got like a gift." And I was like, "Okay." Like, so I obviously was intrigued when she told me she thought I'd got a gift, and I wanted to know more about it. So quite quickly, actually, I got into it like via that, and she just sort of said to me, if you're gifted, you're meant to do this. You're meant to help others, and you've got a powerful gift. So I started to learn it, and it probably only took me, I want to say, a couple of months. So I went straight from the first degree of Reiki to the second degree of Reiki within a couple of months. And I got really into it, because the thing is with Reiki, the people that do it, they don't know that they're actually illegally entering the spirit realm. So obviously, as Christians, we know that with Jesus, we have legal access to the spiritual realm through Jesus. We are protected. But with Reiki and anything like that, psychics, mediums, anything, you're entering the spiritual realm, but you're not protected. So it's illegal access. I think you're doing healing. So it's a counterfeit version of what we do as Christians, where it says in the Bible, laying of the hands for healing. It's a counterfeit version. So you don't actually even lay your hands on people. What they do with Reiki is they sort of hover their hands, and they think that they're feeling the person's energy and that they're tapping into that energy. And then that you can sort of like move, and you think that you're the powerful thing, and that you're able to move energy and get rid of things. And an ancient technique, they say, that comes from Japan from thousands of years ago, and they sort of teach you that you are they say that you are a channel for the universe to move through you, and then you're able to then move this energy and help to unblock people's chakras. It's a word that's quite popular now in the new age, all this sort of like chakra healing, chakra balancing. But now that I'm out of it, and now that I can, I've learned so much over the years, I can see now how it's just demons working with demons.
Hit the like button. Thank you.
So it's just illegal access to the spirit realm, and as you're doing Reiki, you're just getting people's demons, and you're either letting them come to you, or you just it's just a really big sort of deception, basically. So when you do Reiki, people do have feelings of peace. So they do feel some kind of peace when it happens. But very often people might see visions, or they might see faces or colours, or they might feel things in their body. So it does have, you do get some kind of physical symptoms, but it never ever lasts. So it's always temporary. So you might say for example, someone might have come to me for a Reiki session. They go afterwards, after about half an hour, they go, oh, I feel so peaceful, feel really good. They go home, and the next day, the anxiety, the depression will just come straight back. It might even come back twice as bad. In fact, a lot of the times it does. So that's when you know that obviously whatever demonic things you've been working with, it's just either opened them up to more, or things have just moved. You know, demons have just moved, more have come in. Now that I know the truth, I feel awful that I used to charge money, you know, for people to come. When I actually became a Christian and got saved and had the realization of what I was doing, I actually put a video out there to my clients to say, like, what I've been doing, and you know, for them to message me if they're not happy, and I was happily, you know, gonna like refund anyone who wanted to. But thankfully, I've got some really nice clients who I still am in contact with, who were just like, they were like, it's okay, we understand. And I was able to explain to them, like, you know, a bit of the truth. But then on the other hand, I did have some clients that were just like, you know, quite angry and didn't want to speak to me. They just kind of like, obviously they didn't ask for money back or anything, but they were, you know, you could tell they were quite they didn't understand it, and they were quite annoyed, thinking that I've just conned them for years or whatever. But I had to be open and honest once I knew the truth, and kind of say to them, Reiki is not what you think it is. It's a deception. It's a false healing. So it's, you know, it's a counterfeit version of what the Holy Spirit does. Then I just got to my knees and I was like, Jesus, if you're real, like, show me. And I just remember like being in floods of tears and just thinking like, this is real, like this is the truth. I'm like, what have I been doing for all these years? And what have I got all these other people into? And so that was the Sunday. By the Monday, I'd completely given my life and got rid of all my occult items, like all my crystals, all my sage, all my tarot cards, all my manifestation books, put them in a box and got them out of the house by the Monday.
Did you have to go through like any deliverance or anything like that? Or
Yeah,
prayer?
I did. So following obviously that, I started to get really tormented by demons, mainly in the nighttime, but obviously in the daytime and stuff as well. Sort of pulled me out of the bed and it had me spinning round on the floor, and like the way I woke up, it was like I was on the floor and I was just like, it was just crazy anyway. But it was intense. It was intense for probably about a month following that. So I had all that going on. The Holy Spirit like delivered me bit by bit. So for about 6 weeks, I had a cough, like and it just kept coming and coming and coming. And I think it was the Holy Spirit's way of giving me like a slow deliverance. So I had that, and then I did have some intense deliverances where I sort of had like sickness and diarrhea, and
So it was coming out.
But it was all over a period of time. Like I didn't necessarily go to a person for a deliverance session. This all just God just did it within, like, I'd say that was October. So around Halloween time, it was horrendous. But by the time it got to the end of November, beginning of December, it had all sort of, I was a different person, and I was on fire for the Lord, and I wasn't really getting any deliverance then. Although I did experience some deliverance just before I got married. But I think that was like the final bit.
I mean, it's so real. It's real. Life is so spiritual, and that realm is real. Like you were saying, you know, people are doing it illegally, you know, and we need to do things that they should be doing. It's dangerous. It's just so dangerous. But there is a higher power, and it's Jesus Christ, isn't it? Who sets you free. And when I saw you on TikTok, I thought, oh, I've got to go on Talks Tasha. She's got to share her testimony, because I thought this was so powerful.
If you're enjoying Talks Tasha, really, I beg you, please
hit the like button, like, share and subscribe it, because I need these videos to go full. So please hit the like button and let's do this.